Thanks, Mike. I've got Dennis Schultz on the phone. What a pleasure this morning. He's the executive director of Blacks in Technology. It's a foundation that was founded in 2008, established in 2012. Blacks in Technology is a global platform for Black people in technology. And they are, quote unquote, stomping the divide by establishing standards for world-class technical excellence, also known as the BIT. They serve members through the community, media, and mentorship by providing resources, guidance, and challenging members to establish new standards of innovation. Their mission statement is, Blacks in Technology is a tech-focused community and media organization that's dedicated to increasing the representation and participation of Black people in the technical industry. Dennis, welcome to the show, brother.
All right, thanks, Doug. Thanks for having me.
And it's a blessing. Let's get a little bit of a historical background of your love for technology. How did you get into this space? Did you ever think growing up that you would be in the position that you are now? Take us back.
So I got into computing. Well, actually, I'll go back even further because my uncle had Pong back in the 70s as the first video game I ever played. And then from there, I had my Atari 2600. I would save up my allowance and all my money went to cartridges. When I broke the joystick, I had to, figure out how to hack it and make it work.
Wow.
Because my mother wasn't buying me another one. So that was kind of my entree into tech. When I really started getting into it was when I was about 12 years old and I got my first computer, my first PC, which was a Commodore VIC-20. I don't know if anybody remembers those, but basically with the VIC-20, you could have a tape cassette record as the data storage. So this is before, I could afford floppy disk. I was, creating little programs and saving them on the tapes. So
wow.
That's how I started. The other question as far as did I think I would ever be here in this position? Quite frankly, no. I, like most people, don't really think past the next couple of years. I've always enjoyed tech. I've always known that I was a nerd. I was kind of a weird breed because I was a jock and a nerd. So I played football and then I like computers too. So I kind of straddled that line.
Right.
I always felt that there should be more Black people who knew how I felt. And, I knew that I could develop a career, make good money. And it was definitely a good fallback to football, which I couldn't pursue because I got hurt.
Where did you go to college, and was it easy for you to break into the tech industry during those times as an African American? I'm
a Virginia Tech alum. Go Hokies. When I ended up going to school my freshman year, we were one of the first classes that, were getting email addresses. So,
wow.
That the internet was new. Netscape 1.0 was the browser, and I was learning as the internet was developing. So when I got into what I consider IT, I went to school for technology education. So things that were technical, but not necessarily on the cutting edge of technology. So when I graduated, I knew I wanted to work in the commercial space and not necessarily teach. And working, as a teacher in school kind of helped me develop my sales professional track for technology, which is what I ended up doing, which was commercial sales for technical companies.
Was it easy for you to get in the door?
Initially, it was only because Virginia Tech is a school that a lot of companies recruit from. And for me, I wasn't the greatest student. I didn't have the best grades, but I had good enough grades, and I was motivated. So I, basically hustled and ended up going from Virginia to Rhode Island for my first job. So I was flexible. I would go where they wanted me to, and that helped me out.
Did you see a lot of other African Americans your age kind of growing like you were in the corporate world?
No, which was a little disheartening because I was typically the only person in the room who was not only Black, but of any color or any alternate nationality. So that was something that was persistent throughout my career. And it's getting better of late. But in the very beginning, it would be, very common occurrence for me to, walk into a conference room or, sit in a customer meeting where I'm the only person. And if there was a, topic on the news or something that happened to black folks, everybody's asking me for,
Right.
for the opinion of the black employees. So, yeah, that's been pretty common.
You're listening to Your Black Business on the Black Information Network. My name is Doug Davis. We're speaking with Dennis Schultz, Executive Director of Blacks in Technology Foundation. So how did the foundation come about?
So Blacks in Technology is a fully volunteer organization. Like you mentioned, we started about a decade ago, and it was the brainchild of Greg Greenlee, who is our founder. He and a few of his techie friends basically would get together on occasion, and he, like me, was the only person at his job or in his team that was black, and he was looking for some camaraderie and a place to basically connect and have a community. So they developed a group, and it grew organically. Today we have 38 chapters, over over 12,000 members globally. We have chapters in Nigeria and Kenya. We have UK and Germany chapters, and we just started a New Zealand chapter. So we are as global as black folks are. So if they just want to cut a check, we'll accept the check.
Right. Why do you feel there's always been a great divide with African Americans and being put into positions of power in the technology industry?
I think it's a byproduct of the tech companies' leadership. And basically with leadership, there's not really a reason to go outside of the people who look like you to find diversity, because if the company's growing, it's profitable, why rock the boat with people who you don't feel reflect you? And unless there's outside influence, either through customers, putting pressure on the organizations, or laws that say that there should be equity and diversity at senior levels. Companies are private; they can do what they want to do, and I think it just needs to be more visible. Executives, more visible and vocal customers, and people who demand that the boards reflect more of the rest of America versus just what they find in those handful of organizations and universities that they target.
Right. I know Google is spending millions of dollars with historically black colleges and setting up different programs to take African Americans and bring them into the fold of the technology industry. There's about 3% people of color in the entire company. What are you doing with Blacks in Technology to help broaden companies like Google, who may be looking for qualified black folks to join their ranks?
We see that a lot of companies will fall back on the excuse that there is a pipeline problem, which basically means that they can't find the diverse talent that they need in order to fill the jobs that they have. And that's, there's some merit to it, but it's a lazy excuse. We are definitely more than 3% of the job market. We'd love to get to a point where we're, approximately 15%, which is on average with the rest of the job market for black workers. But we want to find those opportunities for, education and inclusion by providing a resource where people can find those diverse candidates that might be a needle in a haystack. So we have things like our career fairs, which are recurring monthly. We can identify specific subject matter experts or skill sets and expertise for those companies who say they can't find diverse talent, or they can't find black people who meet the level of qualification that they need. We have them, and our members are either looking for work or open to being poached. So there's definitely the option to find those folks. We also provide scholarships and training opportunities for people who want to get into tech.
Let's talk about that a little bit in detail. I mean, are we talking about people that have already graduated? Or are we talking about young kids who are looking at getting into the industry? How do you differentiate, or how can you be able to point people in the right direction as a resource?
So we cater to any and all. Students typically will be looking for their first job out of college, will have a degree. That's not necessarily our primary target. Those folks, not saying that students don't need help finding jobs. I'm sure that there's a lot of students who do, but our focus is on people who want to transition into tech from a different career, who might be underemployed or unemployed. And we look at our resources as a way to stem that unemployment. You know, if there's folks who are looking, maybe they're a project manager where they work, but it's not in a technical field, we'll help them transfer those skills into something that could be a solid, good paying, COVID resistant type job.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Do you have an example out there? I mean, let's say, I've always liked tech as an example, right? I've always liked, and I'm not really saying me like an example. I'm just not the tech guy. I'm going to be honest with you. I'll leave it up to you smart men and women to do that. But, let's just say for an example, I manage a warehouse, right? A huge warehouse. And I've always had a love for tech. How would you help me make that transition?
Sure. So there's programs out there that you can get upskilled and retrained within, 3 to 4 months. And what's happening right now, because there are so many jobs available in the tech industry, there are over 1 million open jobs right now in the U.S., that companies where they typically would have, higher barriers to entry, requiring a 4-year degree or an advanced degree, are willing to take a hard look at people from alternate backgrounds who actually have the practitioner level skills in order to do the job. So as long as you can do the job, the fact that you don't have a 4-year degree doesn't really matter. So what we've been focused on is getting grants and scholarships for programs, and there are 2 in particular that we're currently working with. One is an organization called BrainStation, where they provide a $15,000 scholarship for members specifically of the Black community through Blacks in Technology. And these are programs that don't require any prerequisites. You don't have to have computer knowledge or a particular technical skill. You just have to be willing to work hard and have a computer that's connected to the internet. So that's a great one. Another one is through Udacity, which is a training organization. And Udacity's program is very similar, though they cover different subject matter areas. So between the two, we want to, upskill as many people as possible. BrainStation, we have 200 scholarships available. And for Udacity, it's a partially funded program. We're actually actively seeking sponsors to fund it to the tune of $1 million. Once it's fully funded, we'll be in a position to upskill 1,000 potential employees. So depending on where you are or what your skill level is definitely encouraged that you take a look and see what skills might transfer or what might be of interest, because the jobs that Udacity and BrainStation actually prepare you for are well-paying jobs. When I say well-paying, I'm talking starting out in the $75,000 range, going up into the 6 figures, and they also will provide you with resources and mentorship to make sure that we get you to the point where you are comfortable. So we're just not going to, train you and let you go. We'll actually provide the support around you to make sure that you are successful.
Right.
Selected.
So let's say I'm listening right now to this broadcast and I'm saying, okay, I like this. I need a job change. I need a career change. How do I know my skill set will fit some of these good paying jobs? Is there somewhere that I can go that says, okay, if you're in retail, you'll be good here. If you work in the sports arena, you'll be good here. If you're in the managerial field, you'll be good here. What's a good reference point for people to say what that next job opportunity could be with the skill set that I already have?
That's a great question, Doug. So, on the Blacks in Technology Foundation website, you can actually receive an assessment of your skills. So you can, we have tools and resources, some through third parties, where you can basically perform a personal assessment on what might be transferable. Then within the programs, if you particularly say, you know what, I want to be a web developer, and I'm very much interested in it, you can take an assessment specifically on web development to see where you are. But even if you are a novice or very, entry level with respect to your skill set, you can still get in and upskill pretty quickly if you're motivated. We'll give you the step-by-step, hands-on, hand-holding, nurturing that you need in order to feel comfortable completing a program and actually working in the field. Like I said, in 3 to 4 months, that's not a very long time, but in terms of IT, it's like dog years. You can learn a lot.
Wow.
You can get a lot accomplished in 4 months and feel pretty good about yourself.
All right. What are some of the more popular tech jobs right now that are available?
Right now, anyone who is a software engineer, computer programmer, those are probably the highest demand. We also see cybersecurity as a hot industry, and there's a lot of different roles within the cybersecurity space that are popular. Digital marketing is also popular. Anything to do with data science or machine learning or artificial intelligence. So there's a number of things, and then there's some non-technical roles as well. So things like project management. Those that don't require you to be super technical can still yield some really good paying jobs. We want to just let people know that if you want to work and you are in a job where you're working very hard and not making good money, you can work very hard and make good money.
Right.
There are options, and we want to let people know that those options exist. We're trying to remove the financial barriers for folks to get in by providing these scholarships and these fellowships and these grants. So our whole mission with Blacks in Technology is to take the sponsorship dollars that we would get from a Fortune 500 company and apply that directly to the people who could use it and people who could actually take it and change their lives with it.
That's beautiful. Let's say I have a full-time job and I'm interested. I've joined. Let's say I even have an opportunity to get a scholarship. Would that get in the way of my full-time job, or could I do that, at 2:00 in the morning to push forward to where I want to be?
Another good question. So depends on the program. The Brain Station program is actually a full-time, intensive 12-week program. So that would require you to do nothing else but that program. It's just like going to school. The other program, the Udacity program, is a little more flexible. You can learn off hours. So you can go to work full-time and complete the program. So depending on, like I said, what your situation and need is, we can find something that would work in your schedule.
So here's the very important question that I'm sure all of the listeners are waiting for. Share your website. How can we find out more about Blacks in Technology, the foundation?
The URL, the web address is foundation.blacksintechnology.net. If you go to blacksintechnology.net, you'll still get to us and just click on the nonprofit link. It'll take us there. But foundation.blacksintechnology.net is the website. And from there, you can become a member. It's free to join. So like I said, we're removing the financial barriers to entry. Once you join and become a member, then you have access to the programs I just mentioned. Not only the two, but we have dozens, and we have all skill sets, all levels. Our membership base is primarily those who are in IT. So if you're Black and you work in IT, you should be a member because most of the programs and benefits are for you.
Right.
But our big push for 2021 is to get more Black people into tech through these scholarship programs and training.
Awesome. Dennis Schultz, Executive Director of Blacks in Technology Foundation. Thank you so much for taking time to hang out with us on the Black Information Network.
Thank you, Doug. Much appreciated.
We appreciate you, brother. God bless. We'll talk to you soon. My name is Doug Davis, and you're listening to the Black Information Network. Black Information.